This will be a very big moment. I think you're going to remember today. Hopefully you're going to look back in years to come and you're going to say, you know, he was right.
It's very hard to construct a version of this in which the Americans come out of this winning.
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day, waiting for a long time. The day that we began to make America wealthy again. We're going to make it wealthy, good and wealthy.
He says it is in response to countries that he says are ripping off the US by charging tariffs on exports from the United States.
And we don't like it, and it's not fair.
If you ask anyone who wore the badge of trade expert, they would probably say that it's not massively helpful to have a full-on trade war, but that does seem to be where we are heading.
There is going to be an impact on the US economy. We are going to fight these tariffs with countermeasures.
The administration's tariffs have no basis in logic, and they go against the basis of our two nations partnership. This is not the act of a friend.
Company has to pay you the tariff. But then the company passes that cost on to the consumer. The consumer then spends less money because everything's starting to cost more money. The businesses do less business because the consumers aren't buying as much off them because it's more expensive. So the profits of the businesses fall, so the taxes on the businesses fall, consumer spending falls, and it all starts to have this slightly depressive effect on your domestic economy. And then at the same time, because you've done that, the value of your currency on the international markets goes up. That then makes exports from your country to other countries more expensive. So it's very hard to construct a version of this in which the Americans come out of this winning.
But I know who does have the power. The people of the United States of America. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. It is time.
You might think, well, why do that? Why speak for 25 hours? There's a chunk of opinion in America which is unhappy with what Donald Trump and his administration is doing, but also very unhappy with the Democrats, who are not really doing all that much to oppose him. And I think they're looking for somebody to do something that resembles some kind of fight back. So while standing there for 25 hours, telling people who already agree with you that Donald Trump is a bad man is not going to change the world. But it is just that sense that there is the beginnings of a fight back.
This is a moral moment. It's not left or right, it's right or wrong. Let's get in good trouble. My friend, Madam President, I yield the floor.
The other thing you saw pushback on this week is Donald Trump's announcement that he's looking at a third term. He used that line that he always uses when he doesn't actually have any evidence, which is a lot of people are saying it. A lot of people are saying they want me to run for a third term. And the only obstacle in his way is the 22nd Amendment, which explicitly says you cannot have more than 2 terms. This other plan about, maybe Vance could run for president with Trump as running mate and then cede power to him, which, by the way, is literally what Vladimir Putin did when he bumped up against the term limits in Russia. The 2 ways to do it are repeal the 22nd Amendment. That won't happen. You need bipartisan support in Congress and 3/4 of the states to back it. So that isn't going to happen. And the only other way to do it would be some sort of coup.